Brought to you by WikiVidi Documentaries. Pete Rose. Peter Edward Rose Sr., also known by his nickname, Charlie Hustle, is an American former professional baseball player and manager. Rose played in Major League Baseball from 1963 to 1986, and managed from 1984 to 1989. Rose, a switch hitter, is the all-time MLB leader in hits, games played, at-bats, singles, and outs. He won 3 World Series rings, 3 batting titles, 1 Most Valuable Player award, 2 Gold Gloves, the Rookie of the Year award, and also made 17 All-Star appearances at an unequaled 5 different positions. Rose won both of his Gold Gloves as an outfielder in 1969 and 1970. In August 1989, 3 years after he retired as an active player, Rose agreed to permanent ineligibility from baseball amidst accusations that he gambled on baseball games while playing for and managing the Reds, including claims that he bet on his own team. In 1991, the Baseball Hall of Fame formally voted to ban those on the permanently ineligible list from induction, after previously excluding such players by informal agreement among voters. In 2004, after years of public denial, Rose admitted to betting on baseball and on, but not against, the Reds. The issue of Rose's possible reinstatement and election to the Hall of Fame remains a contentious one throughout baseball. On June 22, 2015, ESPN concluded an investigation and determined that Rose bet on baseball while still a player-manager, from 1984 to 1986. The investigation also made public the existence of records of bets made by Rose on baseball, which had been seized by U.S. federal authorities from an associate of Rose. In 2016, Rose was inducted into the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame. Early life. Rose was born April 14, 1941 in Cincinnati, Ohio, one of 4 children born to Harry Francis, Pete and Laverne Rose. He was a member of the Order of Demolay as a young boy, and was encouraged by his parents to participate in sports. He played baseball and football at Western Hills High School. Although Rose was small for his age, he earned the starting running back position on his freshman football team. When he was not promoted to the varsity football team in his sophomore year, Rose was dejected and soon lost interest in his studies. At the end of the school year, Rose's teachers decreed he would have to attend summer school or be held back. His father decided it would be better for Pete to repeat a year of school than miss a summer playing baseball. It would also give Pete an extra year to mature physically. When Rose reached his senior year, he had used up his 4 years of sports eligibility. So in the spring of 1960, he joined the Class RR team sponsored by Frisch's Big Boy of Lebanon, Ohio in the Dayton Amateur League. He played catcher, second base and shortstop, and compiled a .626 batting average. This would have been the pinnacle of Rose's baseball career if not for the help of his uncle Buddy Bleebaum. Bleebaum was a bird dog scout for the Reds, and he pleaded the case for his nephew. The Reds, who had recently traded away a number of prospects who turned out to be very good, decided to take a chance on Pete. Upon his graduation from high school, Rose signed a professional contract. Rookie of the Year. During a spring training game against the Chicago White Sox in 1963, the Reds' regular second baseman, Don Blasingame, pulled a groin muscle. Rose got his chance and made the most of it. During another spring training game against the New York Yankees, Whiteford gave him the derisive nickname, Charlie Hustle, after Rose sprinted to first base after drawing a walk. Despite the manner in which Ford intended it, Rose adopted that nickname as a badge of honor. In Ken Burns' documentary Baseball, Mickey Mantle claimed that Ford gave Rose the nickname after Rose, playing in left field, made an effort to climb the fence to try to catch a Mantle home run that everyone could see was headed over everything. Rose made his major league debut on April 8, 1963 against the Pittsburgh Pirates, and drew a walk. After going 0 for 11, Rose got his first major league hit on April 13, a triple off Pittsburgh's Bob Friend. He hit .273 for the year, and won the National League Rookie of the Year award, collecting 17 of 20 votes. Rose entered the U.S. Army Reserves after the 1963 baseball season. He was assigned to Fort Knox for 6 months of active duty, which was followed by 6 years of regular attendance with the 478th Engineering Battalion USAR at Fort Thomas, Kentucky. At Fort Knox, he was a platoon guide and graduated from United States Army Basic Training January 18, 1964, 1 week before his marriage to Carolyn. Rose then remained at Fort Knox to assist the sergeant in training the next platoon and to help another sergeant train the fort's baseball team. Later in his Fort Thomas service, Rose served as company cook, which entailed coming in early for the 1 weekend per month meeting so that he could get out early enough to participate in local Reds games. Other Reds players in the unit included Johnny Bench, Bobby Tolan and Darrell Chaney. Early years. On April 23, 1964, in the top of the 9th inning of a scoreless game in Colt Stadium, Rose reached first base on an error and scored on another error to make Houston Colt 45's Ken Johnson the first pitcher to lose a complete game no-hitter. However, he slumped late in the season, was benched, and finished with a .269 average. He continued to play in the Venezuelan Winter League with Leones del Caracas team during 1964-1965 season. To improve his batting, Rose came back in 1965, leading the league in hits and at-bats, and finishing 6th in NIMVP balloting. It was the first of his 10 seasons with 200-plus hits, and his .312 batting average was the first of 9 consecutive .300 seasons. He hit a career-high 16 home runs in 1966, then switched positions from second base to right field the following year. In 1968, Rose started the season with a 22-game hit streak, missed 3 weeks with a broken thumb, then had a 19-game hit streak late in the season. He had to finish the season 6 for 9 to beat out Matty Alou and win the first of 2 close NI batting title races with a .335 average. He finished second to St. Louis Cardinals pitcher Bob Gibson for the NIMVP award, earning 6 first-place votes. Rose had his best defensive season in 1969, setting a career high in batting and tying his career-best 16 homers. As the Reds' leadoff man, he was the team's catalyst, rapping 218 hits, walking 88 times and pacing the league in runs with 120. He hit 33 doubles, 11 triples, drove in 82 runs, slugged .512, and had a .432 OBP. Rose and Roberto Clemente were tied for the batting title going into the final game. Rose bunted for a base hit in his last at-bat of the season to beat out Clemente. 1970 All-Star Game. On July 14, 1970, in brand new Riverfront Stadium, Rose was involved in one of the most infamous plays in All-Star Game history. Facing the California Angels' Clyde Wright in the 12th inning, Rose singled and advanced to second on another single by the Los Angeles Dodgers' Billy Grabarkwitz. The Chicago Cubs' Jim Hickman then singled sharply to center. Amos Ota's throw went past Cleveland Indians catcher Ray Foss, as Rose barreled over Foss to score the winning run. Foss suffered a fractured and separated shoulder, which initially went undiagnosed until the following year. Foss continued to hit for average, but with diminished power. He had 16 home runs before the break, but only 2 after. He played through the 1979 season, but never approached his first-year numbers. The collision also caused Rose to miss 3 games with a bruised knee. 1973 season. In 1973, Rose led the league with 230 hits and a .338 batting average en route to winning the NIMBP award, and leading the Big Red Machine to the 1973 National League Championship Series against the New York Mets. During the 5th inning of Game 3 of the series, Joe Morgan hit a double play ball to Mets first baseman John Milner with Rose on first. Rose's slide into second, attempting to break up the double play, inciting a fight with Mets shortstop Bud Harrelson, resulting in a bench-clearing brawl. The game was nearly called off when, after the Reds took the field, the Shea Stadium crowd threw objects from the stands at Rose, causing Reds manager Sparky Anderson to pull his team off the field until order was restored. Mets manager Yogi Berra and players Willie Mays, Tom Seaver, Cleon Jones, and Rusty Stove were actually summoned by NI president Chub Feeney out to left field to calm the fans. The Reds ended up losing that game, 9-2, and the NLCS, 3-2. Despite Rose's .381 batting average in the series, and his 8th inning home run to tie Game 1, and his 12th inning home run to win Game 4. The Big Red Machine. The Cincinnati Reds of the 1970s earned the nickname, the Big Red Machine, and is widely acknowledged as one of the greatest teams ever. On a team with many great players, Rose, along with Hall of Famers Johnny Bench, Joe Morgan and Tony Perez, was viewed as one of the club's leaders. In the year 1975, Rose earned the Hickok Belt as Top Professional Athlete of the Year and Sports Illustrated magazine's Sportsman of the Year award. The following year, he was a major force in helping the Reds repeat as World Series champions. The 1976 Reds swept the Phillies 3-0 in the 1976 National League Championship Series, then swept the Yankees 4-0 in the World Series. The 1976 Cincinnati Reds remain the only team since the expansion of the playoffs in 1969 to go undefeated in the postseason. The Reds have not lost a World Series game since Carlton Fisk's extra-inning home run in the 1975 World Series, having won the next 9 World Series games in which they have appeared. A significant factor in the Reds' success was that in 1975 and 1976 Rose made a successful switch of his primary position from the outfield to third base. This move filled a void and helped to solidify the Reds team for these 2 championship seasons, as it enabled the team to make greater use of power-hitting outfielder George Foster. 44-game hitting streak. On May 5, 1978, Rose became the 13th player in Major League history to collect his 3,000th career hit, with a single off Montreal Expos pitcher Steve Rogers. On June 14 in Cincinnati, Rose singled in the first inning off Cubs pitcher Dave Roberts. Rose would proceed to get a hit in every game he played until August 1. making a run at Joe DiMaggio's record 56-game hitting streak, which had stood virtually unchallenged for 37 years. The streak started quietly, but by the time it had reached 30 games, the media took notice and a pool of reporters accompanied Rose and the Reds to every game. On July 19 against the Philadelphia Phillies, Rose was hitless going into the ninth. With his team trailing, he ended up walking in the eighth inning and the streak appeared over. But the Reds managed to bat through their entire lineup, giving Rose another chance to bat in the ninth inning. Facing Ron Reed, Rose laid down a perfect bunt single to extend the streak to 32 games. He would eventually tie Willie Keeler's 1897 single-season National League record at 44 games. But on August 1, the streak came to an end as Gene Garber of the Atlanta Braves struck out Rose in the ninth inning. With 2 outs and the count full, Garber, rather than challenging Rose with a fastball, took full advantage of Rose's predicament by throwing him an off-speed pitch out of the strike zone, which Rose swung at and missed. The competitive Rose was sour after the game, blasting Garber and the Braves for treating the situation like it was the ninth inning of the 7th game of the World Series. Instead of being insulted, Garber took the comment as a compliment. "I said to myself, well, thanks, Pete. That's how I try to pitch every time I'm in a game." Philadelphia Phillies. The Philadelphia Phillies had won the National League East 3 years running, 2 of which were won with 101-win seasons, but were unable to make it to the World Series. In 1979, believing that he was the player who could bring them over the top, the Phillies temporarily made Rose the highest-paid athlete in team sports when they assigned him to a 4-year, $3.2 million contract as a free agent. With perennial All-Star Mike Schmidt firmly entrenched at third, Rose made the final position change of his career to first base. Although they missed the postseason in his first year with the team, they earned 3 division titles, 2 World Series appearances, and their first ever World Series title in the following 4 years. The worst season of Rose's career was also the season that the Phillies played in their second World Series in 3 years, 1983. The 42-year-old Rose batted only .245 with 121 hits, and found himself benched during the latter part of the 1983 season, appearing periodically to play and pinch hit. Rose did blossom as a pinch hitter, with 8 hits in 21 at-bats, a .381 average. Rose bounced back during the postseason, batting .375 during the NLCS against the Los Angeles Dodgers, and .312 in the World Series against the Baltimore Orioles. Rose went 1 for 8 in the first 2 games in Baltimore and was benched for Game 3 in Philadelphia, though he grounded out in a pinch-hitting appearance. Rose objected to manager Paul Owens' decision to bench him in a pre-game interview with Howard Cosell of ABC Sports. Rose bounced back with 4 hits in his last 7 at-bats in the remaining 2 games, though the Phillies lost the series to the Orioles, 4-1. Thank you for watching. Brought to you by WikiVidi Documentaries. Please like and subscribe below. Please like and subscribe below.